CodinGame Winter Challenge 2026. So in this video we are going to look at how you can improve your experience with CodinGame, because as you surely know, we have our little code here for the bot, and to test it we add a little opponent here, and then we just play the code. And it's slow because we have to send the code to the platform plays the game, and then we watch the game eventually for the results, and that's about it. And here the game is already over because my guys are not smart enough to realize he cannot reach it, and he has to try to pick up something else and he doesn't go for it. So that's an improvement that I have to make. And to make sure that when you're coding for an improvement, you're not actually introducing a regression with a bug or a bad idea. Simply, you have to test locally. When you send your code in the arena with this button here, you can see you're playing about 100 games. Yes, I didn't refresh much, but when you submit it's about 100 games, and people are still submitting and trying to beat you, so you still play games after you submit. That's basically it. So all this experience here, you must reproduce it locally, because otherwise you make a change, you submit, and you watch where you end up on the leaderboard, but it's not always an accurate assessment of the strength of your program. So what people have done is to create a local tester named brutaltester here. And how it works is just a Java program with some parameters. You have a referee, and you have two players. Basically, that's the code for your game, and another player. This one is PHP, this one is probably C or C++, and then a bunch of parameters. And at the end of the games, you have a cross table with the summary of the performance between every player. So you have instructions here, command line argument, blah 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 blah, and then you have some instruction how to make your own referee. And basically he's explaining that every coding game is a little bit different, and sometimes brutaltester is not compatible, so you kind of have to make changes yourself. And here is a list of compatible referees. Actually, I've never used brutaltester myself, so I don't know how it works. When I started CodinGame, it was like 2022, I think. And I basically didn't know when I started it's useful to use this. And then I started making my own, which I'm going to show you. For this contest, oh, there are some people that I know in this picture. Anyway, Here, for this contest, there is already a new version that is available that you can use for this contest. Alright, so what do you need to do? First, you need to download the CodinGame engine. CodinGame engine, no, that's brutaltester still. Okay, CodinGame engine here. So you just git clone and you have the code, and then you need to git clone the code for the game that you want to create your local arena for. Once you've done that, you can hack it. So I'm showing you here, this is the CodinGame engine, and here this is the winter challenge, which have been cloned on my PC. And this file here is a summary of the modifications that I usually do when I hack into the CodinGame engine. So this is necessary because we make a local change and we don't want Maven, which is a package manager for Java, to try to download a signed version and verify it. So the signing stuff, we don't want that. Then we have some imports, because this line here is not good, in my opinion, because you are not pulling the environment variables. So if you want or you need the environment to be populated and pass it to the process, when you start the process, you have to use a different method, which is with the process builder here. And you get the environment, and then you can just start it. And at the end, I add a little get seed, because when the arena is going, and you have a game, and inside the game you detect a condition that should not happen, some kind of assertion that you put in your code, it's easier to just get the seed, make a dump of the state of the simulation, a copy of the state with the seed, and then you can analyze afterwards. If you don't have the seed, it's going to be difficult to figure out how this assertion failed. Alright, first thing, to build the CodinGame engine, we have to go inside of it, and first I'm going to show you, like, that's all I have. So that's all the modifications that I made, exactly the same things, except here, from what I knew before, there is a new web server which is named underscore and underscore. They didn't pull all the required dependencies. Alright, so you need to add those dependencies, because core is not enough. You need the servlet and JBoss XNIO. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And there are many more dependencies actually, which I was able to find. Oh, I did not put it here. Okay, let's missing dependencies. I think. I don't know. It's a Stack Overflow post under 2 Stack Overflow. Let's see. Yeah, okay, it's this one. So this here, this is a list of dependencies that you need, and it's the only place on the whole internet that you will find the exact list of things that you need. Otherwise, what's going to happen? Everything is going to compile. You're going to try to start, and then you will have an error saying you didn't find the XNI provider, and you will have no idea what the server is trying to do, and what is actually missing to be able to run, because like this is a low-level API, and it is an actual implementation with this API of a web server, and the whole thing actually no. XNAO is a low-level API. Undertow you can use to make a server, and then Whitefly I think is it a client or is it also server code? I have no idea. I don't know how it works. This dependency is usually pulled automatically, and remember, and this one too. So just put everything and you'll be alright. I didn't have to, because when I pull servlet, for example, it's going to pull threads and some other stuff, so it's a bit of a mess, but at least there is a complete list that you can revert to. Let's go back to this. So what you do is you call mvan mvn clean package, and this is going to build the CodinGame engine. It has several parts. The runner is the one who is going to play the game and launch a web server eventually. It's not always the case. You can also just run a simulation without launching a server to review the game afterwards. And you have so the runner, then you have some kind of stuff for rendering, I guess. You have the end screen module with the scores, and you have the core, and basically you build everything and you should be fine. Once you've done that, you also need to actually I need to show you something first. So once you've done that, you go inside of it, runner, you go target, and you get your Java files. So this is the archive with all the compiled class, images for the animation and stuff. You have a bunch of other files, and this one is the most important because it contains the class path. And the class path, as you can see, is very big. Okay, so trying to figure out all the libraries that you need to start it, it's just a mess. So luckily, after maven once, you can just copy this class path and you put this class path down here, where I have a makefile with the same class path here. So this makefile, it's going to build and run the tester folder in the game. So this one is provided by CodinGame. I just added a CD here and I changed I put my program that is live at the moment here with config boss was already provided in config here, and you have a boss file here. It just waits, it does nothing else. So just a dummy. Alright, it's never going to do anything. So you clone the game. Inside the game you have this main here, and what I do is I have a makefile where I put the class path to be able to launch it, and beside of it I have a little benchmark here, which is to run my local arena. I'm going to see this later. And there is an alternate test file which I configure, and it's the one who is going to execute the benchmark. So we create multiple benchmark and we run them here inside the pool. So I'm taking the number of cores that I have on the CPU, -1, and it's going to run everything in parallel. So in this example here, I have just the first one, like 0, because I have only one version since I started the competition already. And as I'm adding features and trying different strategies, I get multiple different bots, and every time I make a version, I have to make sure that the win percentage is positive against every version. If it's negative against another bot that is older, it means there's a variation somewhere, and I have to figure out what is doing wrong that the other bot is doing correctly. And that's how I reached legend the first time on CodinGame actually, with this strategy. Let's just build our game. So I will be CodinGame winter. Okay. And here, same thing, npm clean package. Yes, I think that's it. Oh. Actually, I'm not sure that is necessary. I don't remember. So now make, it's going to execute our make file. And it's starting the server here. And the files for the web application is in TMP. So actually we need a little terminal here. Now I can go TMP because there is a bug in this version. Yeah. So the server is running and we see there is an error here. It is not able to basically load the assets. Oh, what have I done? Okay, that is not what I wanted to have happen. Oh my god, how do I fix this? Oh, did I make it? No, I didn't make it float. Huh. I split. Huh. I'm sorry about that. I did something that I didn't want to do. Okay, I see what happened. But I don't know how to fix it. If I do this. If I go back like this, no. Oh. Anyway, what I wanted to have is the debug console, JavaScript debug console, to show you the problem here. What's happening is we need the assets, and as we can see, green.png, it works, but in the code, if I could show you the debug window, you would see that the assets are loaded, and if I just load the viewer, and now the game is showing. Okay, I need to figure out how did I split it like this. So Okay, that's not good at all. Oh my god. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make... can I do this? Okay, so I'm going to do this. Here. Transfer it here. Okay, that's good. And then we have all the web stuff here. So, okay, it's not so bad. Now, let's have a look at the game. So we can run it here. The green bot never does anything, and as we can see, this guy is not too smart. He doesn't know how to pick up the stuff, and that's an improvement that I have to worry about. But that's basically how you run the competition locally. And to finish, let's have a look at the arena. So let's stop this server. It was not necessary, but I'm going to do that. And let's run make. What was the name of it again? I don't remember. Yeah, okay, so default here is just a matchup, and here it's arena. So make arena. It's going to play 50 games. And we have to wait a little bit. Since it's only one matchup, I can use only one core, but in the same time, in the future, I can use multiple cores to execute in the same amount of time many more arenas. So that's amazing. And it's taking more time than I expected. Okay, so 50 games, and it has a positive expectancy. I made 50% zero basically. So if I see a positive number here, yeah, it's a good thing, and if I see a negative number, it's a regression. So here, plus 17%, this means it's winning 2/3 of the time, 67%, and it's losing 1/3 of the time. So that's a very good improvement compared to the lab version that I had before. And can have a look at the code. We've already seen this file, so this is the test version. Basically, the test version here, just some Python code. It's a mess. I was really sick, so I didn't work really hard on it, as you know, and this is almost exactly the same thing that was already published. And this one is exactly this test version here. it's the same that is here. So I made some preparation, and usually I mark these two files as read-only so that I can never modify them again. If you check here, what I did in 2023, I believe. Where was the source test? Python, yes, you can see all the live version are read-only, so I cannot modify them by accident while I'm working and modify the result of my arena again. So that's something that I will do also here. And the benchmark file, it's run, and here I have some parameters on the command name, the league level, and inside of run, I'm counting the Windows result and whatever. Just only simulating the game, checking if there are errors. If there is an error, it usually means the referee has something to say, and maybe the game is already over, so if there are errors, I just stop the tournament. And here I count the win and draws, and I calculate the performance at the end. Actually, yeah. I'm thinking now, yeah, it's probably better to just stop everything if there's an error, because what's the point of continuing the simulation if you've made a big mistake and the referee is going to stop your game and publishing, but with a big error like that? It's not a good idea. So I think that's the reason why I didn't put a continue or a break or whatever. I just stop everything. So when you run it, you can use brutaltester if you have it for the competition. Someone has prepared it for you. Just speed up. And if you don't care about that, you're like me and you just want to do it yourself, now you know how to do it. Remember, in summary, you copy the CodinGame engine, copy the game, then you go here, inside the inside the engine, you have a few modifications to make. Oh, speaking of this, I forgot to show you something. The POM file. Here. Here we have two lines that are very important, because when you compile the game, it's going to try to download the CodinGame engine from Maven repository or archive, whatever, but you want to pick the one that is built locally, that you modified. So you need to put these two lines, otherwise that's not going to work. And if we go here, we can see exactly what happens. Scope system, system path, and set. And the rest is irrelevant, it's just some modification of the tester class. So copy the game engine, you make the modifications that I have in my div. Here, uncheck, unverify, pick up the environment here, and eventually use get seed. There are probably other modifications that you can do, but this has been enough for me up until now. And then inside the game, you want to have a test class which can load any kind of files. Yeah. In brutaltester, I do it for the command line. I'm doing it directly in Java. I don't really care. And you need your benchmark class. Also, sometimes you can have modifications. For example, in this game, it was necessary to read the outputs because I think sometimes one error message didn't appear in the error, but in the output or the referee somewhere. So I had to read it and do something about it. So I need to adapt for that. Sometimes you need to modify the benchmark class. And that's basically all you need to do. And then make a dynamic file, pick up the class path, and just launch everything that you need accordingly. Just match up our complete arena with whatever parameters you want in the test. I like it like this because I can just directly modify the Java file and not worry about command line bash and stuff. Not necessary. It's probably better, but I didn't intend to publish this code, so for me that's good enough. I hope it was a little bit useful for you, and if I made any mistake or something that you don't understand, just let me know.